Now let us turn our attention to the 10th commandment. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's goods. This commandment deals with disordered desires for material possessions. It goes beyond just stealing, which the 7th commandment forbids, and focuses on the interior attitude of the heart, specifically the sins of envy and greed. To covet means to have an inordinate desire for something that belongs to another. It does not mean simply wanting nice things, desiring to improve one's life, or to work hard for something is not sinful. But when desire turns into resentment, greed, or obsession, it becomes sinful. The 10th commandment warns against the dangers of materialism and envy, which are rampant in the modern world. Envy is sorrow at another's good fortune, leading to resentment or even a desire to see them lose what they have. For example, a person sees their neighbor succeed financially, and instead of being happy for them, they feel bitterness and wish harm upon them. Today's society constantly pushes people to desire more, better cars, bigger houses, more expensive clothes, leading to discontent and greed. For example, someone may become obsessed with keeping up with the latest trends, leading to financial irresponsibility, debt, or even dishonesty to acquire wealth. Some political ideologues stir envy by encouraging people to resent the wealthy rather than work toward their own success. The church teaches that private property is a right, but that wealth must be used justly. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, numbers 2401 and 2402. Coveting often comes from not trusting that God will provide for our needs. Instead of being grateful for what we have, we fixate on what we do not have. For example, the Israelites in the desert constantly complained and coveted the comfort of Egypt, despite God providing for them. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 12, verse 15, we read, "Take heed and be aware of all covetousness. For a man's life does not consist in the abundance of things which he possesseth." Jesus warns that true happiness is not found in wealth. In Matthew chapter 6, verses 19 to 21, we read, "Lay not up to ourselves treasure on earth, but lay up to yourselves treasures in heaven. For where thy treasure is, there is thy heart also." Jesus calls us to seek eternal riches rather than earthly wealth. As far as ways to overcome covetousness, we should practice gratitude by focusing what we have, not what we lack. Be generous by giving to others, knowing that everything we have is from God. Trust in divine providence by believing that God will provide what we truly need. Detach from material things by using wealth for good, but not letting it control us. The 10th commandment, which warns against coveting others' goods, is directly related to many modern issues, both in society and within the church. Today, many political movements encourage envy by stirring resentment toward the wealthy or those who are successful. Socialism and communism promote the idea that the rich must be punished and wealth forcibly redistributed, which contradicts Catholic teaching on private property. The Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 2401. Pope Leo XIII's encyclical, Rerum Novarum, in 1891 condemned socialism, saying that it violates the rights of lawful owners and creates discord between social classes. Instead of coveting what others have, Catholic social teaching emphasizes charity and justice, where the rich are called to give freely and the poor called to work diligently. The Vatican financial scandals, including the misuse of funds from Peter's Pence, reveal greed and corruption within the hierarchy. Money meant for charity was used for luxurious investments, such as a London real estate deal, instead of helping the poor. Also, clerical greed has led to scandals where church leaders amass wealth while neglecting the spiritual and sacramental needs of the faithful. When church leaders become worldly, they lose sight of their mission. Instead of storing treasures in heaven, some seek power and luxury, betraying the gospel message. Furthermore, modernists in the church often reduce Christianity to a political movement focused only on social justice, economics, and environmentalism. Pope Francis and many bishops talk constantly about poverty, migrants, and climate change, but rarely about sin, salvation, and eternal life. While Catholics must help the poor, the Church's primary mission is the salvation of souls, not economic activism. The modernist Church encourages envy-based activism instead of personal virtue and detachment from wealth. True Christian poverty is voluntary detachment, not government-enforced redistribution. There's truly a spirit of materialism and consumerism in the world today. Modern society promotes constant dissatisfaction. Advertising fuels greed, envy, and covetousness by making people desire more than they need. Even many churches today focus on worldly success. Megachurches preach the prosperity gospel. And even some Catholic parishes emphasize wealth and comfort rather than penance and sacrifice. Covetousness leads to cultural excess, where people idealize wealth instead of using it responsibly. Instead of focusing on humility and generosity, modernism promotes self-indulgence and entitlement. The 10th commandment warns us against desiring what belongs to others, whether through greed, envy, or resentment. Modernism twists Catholic teaching by promoting class warfare, financial corruption, and materialistic focus instead of spiritual detachment. The solution is to follow Christ's example by rejecting envy and greed, practicing charity and generosity freely, and focusing on spiritual riches rather than material wealth.